What's good, gamers? I'm back doing another one of these videos where I say a bunch of niche Kimberly things where you would only know them if you did not go outside. If you went and hit the subscribe button and the like button right now, it would be real nice for me to be able to go to events and all that. So, up on the chopping block today is a bunch of things that you suck at. So the first thing I'm going to start with is an over-reliance on can setups. So obviously can setups are like the pinnacle of why you play Kimberly in Street Fighter 6. It's the whole thing that keeps this character tied together is being able to completely rob someone by comboing out of throws. It completely breaks the rules of the game. But one thing that I see from a lot of Kimberly players is they will automatically defect to can setups when, honestly, it's not that strong. For example, this is a common situation where you're sitting mid-screen, like round start distance from your opponent. Like, one of Kimberly's strengths is that from this position, she's able to take her opponents to the corner, and she can even do a can setup there. So, obviously this is a pretty strong situation. You get 2,000 damage in a can setup. But what I would like to demonstrate is this situation where you land a scenario where you're still building meter. So if you drive rush cancel, the following combo won't build any meter. So I think it's usually pretty correct to go for a can setup in this kind of scenario. Most of the time. Depends on like the health, but I think it's usually correct. But if you get some kind of opener like a raw drive rush in neutral or like a counter hit confirm of some sort that takes them to the corner, if you just look at the meter scenario here, like just following through with the combo will regain you like an entire bar of drive meter. Like as you saw there, I went from using one drive meter on the drive rush and I got almost the whole meter back by the time that the combo was done, just like a sliver missing. So I think this is one thing that is very often overlooked when people try and go for these can setups. Because as you'll see in this situation, that tatsu builds maybe like a quarter of a meter by itself, and it also adds on a really good amount of damage by itself. So from this drive rush stand medium punch example, without the tatsu it does 2156. And with the tatsu it does 2696. So that's like 650 damage increase, and that's huge. That's half of the throw just for finishing your combo. So you get 650 damage for landing the tatsu, and I'm going to compare that to the can setup, and then the most basic thing you can do. So this is like the lowest like risk sort of situation. This is like the baseline of what you should expect out of a can setup, is you should expect 1869 damage. Because other than that, you're going for a hard read. If your opponent takes a throw, then this is all you'll get. You shouldn't expect to get more than this. So, 1869. So, Kimberly's normal throw does 1,080 damage. So, 1869, the difference between that is 800. So, essentially, you're giving up a quarter of a drive meter to throw this can, and all you're getting out of it is like 100 something damage off of your throw, like 200 damage. It's not really worth it. You're spending that quarter of a drive meter and you're spending a can, hoping that you'll guess right, and all you get is 200 damage. It's not worth it. So in this sort of situation, I just recommend that you go for the tatsu the majority of the time. So when I throw a can personally, what I'm looking for is one of two things. So the first thing is, are they gonna die? So if my opponent's at this like sort of like 40% health range, then I will go for the can setup, because if you can cash out and kill them, it's almost always worth it to go for that. That's when can setups are actually really cheap. But the other situation when I will go for can setups is, one, if I can't gain any meter from the combo, so like from a driver cancel, or if I just have like a really fat stack of meter. Because in this scenario, I don't really need to be gaining the extra quarter meter if I already have 5.5 bars. So essentially, I just yapped for like, God, like 6 minutes straight. And all I'm trying to say is that, your opponent's got a huge amount of health. Just go for the tatsu. It does a lot of damage. It adds consistency to your game plan. And you can hold on to those cans for when they actually matter. So the second thing that I see a lot is unadaptive combos. And what do I mean by that? So the main circumstance where I would say that I see unadaptive combos is when I see Kimberly players end combos in slide. So slide is useful and optimal often because it leads into the tatsu in the corner and it leads into the can setup as well. But when I see a Kimberly player go like here and land a medium confirm in the slide, I know something's up. So in this situation, you get like 1832 damage and you get like plus 46. You get easy Oki. But you're sacrificing a bunch of damage where you could just be getting Oki anyways. So in this situation, I get 2332 damage, which is a good amount more. You're dropping out on 200 damage and you're getting the same Oki. The corner carry might not be as crazy, but you still have Oki. Like, it's still your turn. It shouldn't, like, matter where you have Oki on the screen. Now, obviously, if I can push them to the corner and get, like, the tatsu follow-up or, like, start my throw loop pressure, then, like, that's fine to do the slide. But I don't want to be seeing, like, lower damage, especially on a character that already does low damage mid-screen. So what I see from a lot of people is that they'll learn setups just from the slide, and they won't bother to like know the Oki on like medium elbow, and they might not even know things like the fact that mid screen heavy tatsu does the most damage meterless. I also often see people get confirms like this, where they could be pushing their opponents back into the corner instead. A really good way to get better at this is just to watch like really good players' replays and just see what combos they do and start taking their setups, because oftentimes you'll notice that they'll do all these meaties and like weird specials and things where you would not normally do, and you can literally just rip those straight into your game plan and start formulating your own idea of what the optimal adaptive combos are. So I've got all sorts of tech across my previous Kimberly tech videos, and that should help. So in my last video, which was the Kimberly buffs, like the changes that Kimberly had and like what everything changed, I mentioned this setup where after a mid-screen throw, you can get a driver's crouch light kick to hit meaty, and then it's +9 even on regular hit. So you get the full stand pierce conversion. But the issue with this setup, and also what I often see Kimberly players do, is go low with this medium kick, is that you're just too damn far away. Like, if they block this low, then your opponent is -4 at this range, and this is way out of range of Kimberly's throw, obviously, but also like any of her good buttons. So it's really hard to push your advantage in a situation like this. And most people just match stand fierce, but then you're just leaving yourself open to perfect parry and all sorts of shenanigans. So instead of avoiding this situation where you have like this sort of like wishy-washy offensive scenario where whoever's turn it is a little bit ambiguous, mostly because of Street Fighter 6, but I digress. Just go for the medium punch. I keep saying it, and I feel like nobody's listening to me, but this drive rush medium punch after Kim's forward throw is some of the most degenerate, like, options in this game. Like, the fact that she gets this throw loop here is entirely broken. On back rise, on quick rise, it does not matter. She gets drive rush stand medium punch, and she gets a tick throw no matter what. So, obviously, there's ways to, like, bait reversals and supers here as well by doing, like, teleport or drive rush DI, stuff like that. Even just, like, drive rush no input and then, like, level 3, they're level 3 back or whatever. This is a really, really strong option, and I would honestly consider it a mistake to go low. Unless you have, like, some kind of crazy read where you notice, like, every time you hit them with drive rush stand medium punch that they're, like, blocking and not blocking their toes, then I would honestly consider going low here to be a mistake. You're just, like, giving up some offense just for the sake of going low, and the reward's not worth it. You're going for a high-low mix that's fake when you could be going for throw pressure, which is completely real, and they have to deal with that a lot more risky because of parry covering high and low. So I like to follow that up by just saying that there are no overheads that are real from a regular forward throw. There's nothing that you can do that'll frame trap here, so they can just block low. There's no reason to not block low. It is almost always preferable to go for the drive rush medium punch. And also, the drive rush medium punch is just, like, completely ridiculous if it hits them. Like, look at this. Look at this. That did 23%, and I'm point blank in their face. That's broken. They gotta nerf that. They gotta do something about that. But don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't tell Capcom. We need that. I need that. So another thing that I would consider a mistake is overusing crouch medium kick and crouch medium punch. So obviously these are pretty good buttons. This crouch medium kick is +1 on block, out of throw range, and crouch medium punch is just a godlike confirm tool because it counter converts into stand heavy punch very reliably now. The issue with this is it's too easy for you to lose your turn. So, like, Kimberly doesn't have a reversal, and her neutral can be suspicious at times, especially in, like, matchups against, like, Guile and Juri, where they have very strong projectiles that are hard to deal with. So when you get offense, you need to, like, really make the most of it of this character. It's where this character shines. Basically what I'm trying to say is you don't want to be giving up your turn. You don't even want to be, like, having slightly worse turns than you could. And that's where I take issue with these buttons. So with crouch medium kick being out of throw range, it's too easy for your opponent to tap parry or mash on you and just have your offense, like, get disrespected and end, or even flip over on you if it's a perfect parry or, like, a counter hit. So I keep seeing people, like, defer to these options since, I mean, crouch medium kicks plus, so I see people do it like this. And they just try and take their +1 frame and, like, run away with it. And I also see people just, like, press crouch medium punch as, like, an attempt to confirm people's block. And honestly, I don't know why people do this. Like, I feel like people like the low, like, because it's a low, it feels like sort of like a mix-up sometimes, but I'm not really sure. Obviously, like, crouch medium punch, it's really, really easy to confirm, so I get why people do that. And I take those options where your offense is kind of not really all the way there. Take these options, I throw them away to the trash. Be gone with you. And what I present to you is our Lord and Savior, our beloved stand heavy kick. So I feel like stagger pressure is sort of like a lost art. In Street Fighter V, stagger pressure was definitely, like, the epitome of, like, how you did offense in Street Fighter. And even before Street Fighter V, the stagger pressure was just the GOAT. And it seems to be, like, something that people have forgotten. So Kim's stand heavy kick is +2 and it's 12 frames. The 12 frames might be a bit daunting, and the fact that you're out of throw range might be a little bit daunting, but plus 12 is a lot more than it looks like. So, with plus 2, your opponent can't mash, or they'll get hit by a huge trade combo. And with the nerfs to perfect parry, they can't tap parry either. Or the extended hurt box is easily throwable on reaction. So basically, this situation sets up your opponent to either mash to beat like a shimmy of some kind, or like a delayed button, or just another stand heavy kick. Or they can tap parry to try and beat the frame trap here. So while a crouch medium kick is like a similar situation, the reward you get from the +1 as opposed to +2 is a lot worse on the strike mix-up. And also, it's just generally harder to stagger crouch medium kicks. It demands a lot less respect with that strike mix-up. So, basically what I'm trying to recommend here is, if something you currently do is meaty people with crouch medium punch, or meaty people with crouch medium kick, then I recommend you just start using stand heavy kick. And even if you do have like other meaty setups, I still recommend you go to stand heavy kick sometimes, because just like the pushback on this move is like nothing. And the reward you get is huge. And the strike mix-up is also very huge. So even if you're not getting punished for doing this on block, start using stand heavy kick. Even if you have like all these other saucy meaty setups and such, just try out using stand heavy kick. I promise you, it will not disappoint. This button is cracked. I keep spamming this guy all the way to like top 8s, just like walking up, pressing stand heavy kick. And a funny thing about this button too is it like has a weird whiff animation. I feel like every time I whiff it, I just mash something after and they get counter hit. So yeah, that's your crayon eating tech. So another one of Kimberly's really big strengths is the fact that off of an anti-air, Kimberly's able to get this crouch heavy punch run stop, where I can end up on the right side, I can end up on the left side, I can go like overhead, I can go throw, I can do all sorts of these things. But one thing that I see a lot, and even something that I used to do myself, is on this left-right mix-up, it's very hard to block. So you want to go into a confirmable button. This sort of like goes back to the stand heavy kick thing. You want to use a confirmable button so that you can, if your opponent messes up the blocking, you can like confirm and do a full combo. So what I used to do is, on the 50-50, is I would just press crouch medium punch. Unfortunately, the issue with this is if they block this and block successfully, it's just not your turn anymore. And what I was saying before with stand heavy kick is like it's just a better version of crouch medium punch as like a offensive tool essentially. But the issue with that on this sort of situation is stand heavy kick's way too slow. It's way too easy to see like which side you're on if you have to do the meaty 12 frames ahead of time, or otherwise it just like won't work properly on like some cross unders like this. They'll air reset, or basically what that means is that they can mash. So what I now use, at least when I have the meter to do so, is I use crouch heavy punch. So I just showed the situation here. You can use crouch heavy punch on either side and it will hit them on the ground. Like Cammy's holding up here and she's not getting air reset because the crouch heavy punch is 8 frames. And basically what's so good about using crouch heavy punch here is 2 things. So crouch heavy punch is 8 frames, so you're able to like stick to the side that you want and still hit them with a real frame trap that won't air reset. So it's like a real 50-50 mix if you go on one of each side and also represent throw to beat parry. But the second thing, this is confirmable. So on hit, this is +6 if you do an OD run stop. Just make sure you don't mix yourself and accidentally do one of these. Get a EX tatsu instead of a run stop. So, but another nice thing here is, well, obviously I'll just show first. You get a really nice confirm here with the good damage and good Oki on hit. And on block, crush heavy punch into EX run stop is +1. So it's still your turn, even if they guess right on the left right. So +1 obviously is not like ideal in this game because of perfect parry and throw being 5 frames, jabs being 4 frames, but essentially, if you use crouch heavy punch after this sort of left-right mix-up here, you get a really good confirm on hit. You're still plus on block, and it works on both sides. It just has like a lot more consistency and reward as opposed to crouch medium punch or crouch medium kick. So yeah, give that one a try next time you're mixing somebody. Light elbow. I feel like one of the first combos people learn is just like, obviously like you have your target combo, you have like your heavy kick confirms and whatever. You learn like your drive rush cancel, and people also learn when they first start playing Kimberly is they jab combos into light elbow. And I feel like that's kind of a shame that that's like the typical thing that people learn, because Kimberly's bushin chain target combo is really, really good. So you might see this confirm and think that it seems like a totally like fine confirm. I mean, like you confirmed the elbow drop, you got damage, and you're +3 point blank. You got like a mix-up. You can go for a throw, you can go for a low, whatever. But people do this light elbow, and they don't realize how much they're missing. If I just compare that to bushin chain, I would like to point out the corner carry here. So we're at the second sort of like line away from the middle of the screen here. So that's almost like, that's literally 40% of the screen that it carried. And if you compare that to just like the light elbow, this didn't even get like 20% across. So the corner carry on the bushin chain is literally double. And if you compare the damage up top, it goes from 1802 so versus 1458. So you're literally losing 350 damage by doing light elbow. Not only that, but you're only +3 from the light elbow. The bushin chain, 20 +26. So that allows you to go for run overhead or dash up low. So it literally gives you a 50-50 mix, more corner carry, more damage, and you gain more meter because it's more hit. And literally everything is just better. So while this light elbow might not look like a mistake, you gotta get used to the target combo. Start game. And speaking of light elbow, with this buff here that makes this move +5 at this range, it might look like it's only a neutral applicable move. Like you're supposed to just like use this in neutral like this and like use it in combos. But there is one more application of this move, and that is punishes. So you might not like typically think of like a special move like this as a punish tool, but if you look at the frame data and the range, this is a 10 frame move that goes like half screen. So this is really cracked actually for punishing things at -10 and even higher than that. So I don't have a list of everything in the game that this punishes, but a really good place to apply light elbow punishes is just on character sweeps. So, I mean, Cammy right here, I set her to just wake up reversal. Light elbow will punish Cammy sweep. And since this is a punish counter, you get a really big conversion here. So, like I was saying before, you know, this might not look like a mistake if you just punish sweep and then sweep back. But essentially, you sweep back, you get 970 damage. But if you know this light elbow tag, you literally get 2.5 times as much, and that's if you're not spending meter. So, yeah, learn the light elbow, learn the characters it works on. This works on Lily, Ryu, Akuma, Blanka, Cammy, Ed, Honda, Guile, Jamie, Juri, Ken, Kimberly in the mirror, Bison, Manon, Marisa, Rashid, and Terry. So some things to note here. Marisa has this charge sweep, and this charge sweep is not punishable, even though her regular sweep is. So regular sweep, entirely punishable with the light elbow, but make sure you're not doing this on the charge sweep. The charge sweep is only -3. Don't even try and punish that with anything. Not only can you punish JP's sweep, but JP's sweep is uniquely so minus that you can punish it while you are in Burnout. So if I put myself in Burnout here and have JP sweep me, I can still punish with light elbow because it's -14 on block. And keep it in mind, but this sweep is also so long that there are ranges where light elbow will just not punish. Mostly max range, so not a big deal. JP sweep is also unique in that it's so long where you can hit light elbow meaty and potentially convert into stand heavy punch, as you can see there. So a quick thing to note, light elbow will not punish sweeps that are not more than -10. So JP's other sweep, which is -6, is a good one to not punish. There's a bunch of other sweeps like that, so just the characters that I mentioned, and I'll probably have them up on screen, are the ones where you can punish the sweeps like this. So yeah, that's all I really have for today. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded too much lately. I'm kind of doing a lot of things, so I'm gonna try and like put some more videos up. Not really any reason why I haven't, other than just being generally busy. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll be back yapping in like a week or two.